Prinze Jr. voicing Kanan Jarrus on Star Wars Rebels. You're listening to the WoflPack Podcast.
Kotoya, this is Master Plo Koon, and you're listening to the 104th Battalion, the WoflPack Podcast. May the Force be with you.
Everybody, you're listening to another episode of the WoflPack Podcast. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember which number this is, but we're on some number.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm Corey. As always, we've got everybody else here, or the majority of people. I don't think I have to introduce them at this point because everybody knows everybody. But we've got, of course, a special guest, though I would seriously consider him like an honorary member of the show. We got Freddie Prinze Jr. here again tonight. How's it going, dude?
How's it going, man? Thanks for the kind words.
Yeah, no problem. It's great to always have you on. I think this is the 6th time we've had you on. So this has been...
Oh, you guys are spoiled.
This has been fun, dude. Yeah, absolutely. We're in Season 2 of Rebels. Star Wars is in full swing, so we got good stuff to talk about tonight. But we were just talking off air. I guess we'll go ahead and go into that first. I was just saying that Sarah was really rocking the Seventh Sister. If you want to talk about that.
It's funny. I was gonna tell you. I said no. You should press record because people like to hear this.
Yeah.
But I watched the episode a little bit early, and I was talking to Dave about it, and we were texting back and forth. That's what people call talking these days. And he kept saying, we were watching at the same time, and he said, just every line she executes, you can tell she's really having fun with it. She just was like playing the whole time, and that's sort of who that character is. She's a cat, and Ezra's a mouse, and she's just toying with him. She's gonna kill him, but she's gonna play with the mouse before she murders the mouse.
Right.
And actors who are old school trained or theatrically trained, they see those moments and they eat those moments up. And actors who are new to the game, they miss those subtleties. They just do because they don't have the experience. Mm-hmm. There's the one in a generation that gets it from Jump Street, but that again is one in a generation. Not everybody gets to be Michael Jordan, but you can really see her and hear her execute fun and games through that. And even with in the trailer that they released, or whatever that teaser montage thing that they released with her and Ahsoka, where she's like unexpected but not unwelcome. Mm-hmm. Like she just had more fun with it than I've ever seen. Like Isaac's was scary in that cold, unfeeling British way, right? Yeah. The reason why we have to kill British people in movies because they have that scariness, right? They do, man. And the Revolutionary War, they will never forgive them for that. They always have to be the bad guy. And like Fifth Brother is like, a Terminator, right? And all of a sudden you have Seven, and she's like a thinker. And she literally is like, scurry off and kill something while I have fun. And I know what the real plan is. You're just the muscle. And I just love the way she played that. And I haven't seen all of her episodes yet. We don't get to see them that early. But just watching it sort of with my kid and seeing how differently she played that than what was on than the way it read in my head was awesome. My chick impresses me, man. What can I say?
Absolutely, dude. She was such a kick butt character. I think a lot of people, especially on Twitter, were saying that she's one of their favorites now in terms of villains and the animated shows from Clone Wars and Rebels. And that's just one episode. She's very I was comparing this on our show last night when we were reviewing the episode. She's like Ventress except Ventress will
Yeah.
kill automatically, but she's, like you said, she plays around with them first. So
Yeah, there's definitely a Ventress quality there, and Sarah and I actually spoke about, who some of my favorite female characters in the Star Wars universe are and why.
Yeah.
Just so she could do homework and research, and I threw a lot of names at her, but the top name on my list was Asajj Ventress, and it was because of her confidence and her strength. Now, Asajj, and I told Sarah this, and I didn't sense any of it in her performance. Asajj is much more insecure based on her failure as a student and her desire for revenge. And that's what makes her beatable. And Seven shouldn't have any of that at all.
Right.
And I didn't see Sarah put any sort of insecurity or fear into it whatsoever. Now, when things get real and she's dealing with Ahsoka, reality changes your philosophies on life real quick. But I haven't got to see that episode yet, so I don't know what she did.
Right. Well, I was gonna ask you because this has to do with the Seventh Sister. So Hasbro said that you got them to make a Seventh Sister figure. What's the story behind this?
Wait, what?
They
Hasbro said that I got them to do it?
They did.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, well, right on for me. Oh, you know what it was? It's probably one of my clones. I have a bunch of clones. It was probably 8s. That's 8888. I just call them 8s. And he probably just said he was me and spoke to them and got it done. He's a smooth talker. But it definitely wasn't me. Unless something on Twitter, maybe. I don't know. A lot of times somebody will tweet, wouldn't this be sick? And I'm like, yeah, that would be sick. But I didn't know it was Hasbro. So maybe that's how it broke down? I don't know.
They made a huge deal, like you called them up and everything. So I don't know if they were joking or what was going on.
Maybe they were trying to be funny, or maybe they were marketing without asking me. I don't know.
I don't know.
Hasbro, that's some shadiness, man.
Yeah,
that's like
wow.
that. You guys are probably too young, but there's an old Stallone movie called Over the Top. And he would like switch his grip halfway through the match. And that always seemed like, I love Stallone, but that always seemed like cheating. And I feel like Hasbro just did that over the top grip in a marketing move. And it's totally cheating.
I think they just did. Wow.
Well, you guys busted them. So there you go.
There you go. I'll have to send you that.
Our investigative report.
That's right.
You're the toy police have struck again.
Absolutely.
All right, Chris, number 2.
Yep.
And don't let Geppetto start using my name selling puppets either. Or we're going to have beef.
I just realized that literally just connected to what you were saying. My bad. We have 2 Chris's now, so I got to distinguish them somehow. So we call him Chris number 2. So,
just speak with like a sick Zero the Hutt accent, and then everyone they will definitely know who you are.
Chris number 2, your question?
So, Freddie, big fan, man. I'm really excited to be talking to you right now. You're absolutely killing it on the show.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, the growth of your character is phenomenal. Cool K, pretty sweet. So,
he gets to cheat, man. He gets to break a lot of the rules and talk a lot of trash. So I have to have fun with that. And Twitter's like the best place in the universe to have fun with the coolest Jedi in the galaxy.
Yeah, for sure. It's great because one of my questions was, like, how do you feel about Sarah playing an Inquisitor? So it's basically you're going up against your wife. It's the ultimate good versus evil, you know?
Well, my thing is, this show gets really lucky, and it is luck. Star Wars is awesome, but when we get these special actors, they're not getting paid anything. Like, a valet is getting more in a tip than what we make for the show. We do it because we love the show. So when they do get a high caliber actor, and I don't say actress, boys and girls can both be actors. If they can both be, policemen, we don't say officer S, we say officer if it's a chick cop. So chicks can be actors too. When we get actors of that level of Sarah's caliber, or of some of the other actors that we have playing one of the new characters that's going to debut this season, when we get an actor of his caliber, an actor of Sarah's caliber, an actor of some of the other characters that are coming into play, then the show gets the ultimate compliment. You know what I mean? Like, the animation, the music, the script, and the acting all sort of complement each other, and different people are going to say different things are most important based on what they received when they were watching it. If you love the score, then the music's more important than other things. If you love Kanan's voice, then the voice is more important than the other things. It's all art though, right? It's all different. But when you have someone like Sarah playing a villain, or you have someone like Jason Isaacs playing the villain, then that bad guy becomes legit, which makes the threat of them legit. When it's just a person doing a voice and it just sounds scary and it's like every video game voice you've ever heard, then that is what it is, man. It's generic and it doesn't hold water. You can watch the episode once, but it's not the kind of thing you want to relive and see again and again and again, because you've heard that crap 1,000 times already in 1,000 other genres. Sarah's voice and take on this is so different than what I thought she was even going to do. You can't be very unique. I guess you can only be unique. But I think what she did was incredibly special. It's so funny. I won't say the name of the show, but the day after her episode aired, this network show offered her an arc as a bad guy on their new show this year, and she's like, "Thanks, I'm a mom. I have a full-time job, but thank you." But like, I honestly felt it was because of that Star Wars performance, because it just happened to be the very next morning.
Definitely.
So I love it, and we didn't ever get to actually record together. It was during my spine surgery and my recovery, and she actually read all the Kanan dialogue while I was out for the rest of the team. So she actually knows the cast really well now too. But I know her performance, and I got to work off what she did and react to what she did. And in the battle, most of our conflicts, it's the Jedi reacting to the Inquisitors, or in the movies, the Jedi reacting to the Sith Lord. The Jedi's not taking action. So in a voiceover situation, it works completely fine and organic for her to have already laid down the track and for me to react off of that.
Yeah. I mean, she's doing a great job. I love how she's calm and collective. It makes her even more scarier in a way,
Oh, yeah, and my wife speaks faster than me. My wife speaks faster than a tobacco auctioneer. And so for her to be able to go into slow motion like that and maintain performance, and then listen to her do an interview, and it's like, micro machines, and you literally, you're just listening for every third word, man. So when she delivers a deliberate performance like that, it's going to hold a lot of weight.
You know what I thought was really cool, like you were saying earlier about her performance, is it's interesting because in Rebels, with the first Inquisitor, he was definitely a threat, I think, more towards Kanan than he was to Ezra. Like, he
Definitely
really wanted to mess with Kanan more, because he was an easy target at the time. And I feel like the Seventh Sister was really messing with Ezra this time, so he kind of has his personal encounter with an Inquisitor face to face. And I think the way Sarah performed it was just it was really creepy, it was really menacing, and I think it definitely flowed really well. Absolutely.
Yeah, she treats him like a little boy, and it's right when Ezra's starting to feel himself, and all of a sudden he's sort of chopped down. And Star Wars has done that in the movies too. Your highest of high is the end of Star Wars, and then Welcome to Empire Strikes Back, where all of you get screwed. So the Rebels maintains that same vibe, but you're dead on with the Jason Isaacs Inquisitor. Kanan was the Jedi he studied. Kanan was the Jedi whose files he read, whose master he learned about, whose fighting styles he prepared for. If you really want to get deep with it, the Inquisitor is Kanan's master. He's the one who teaches him how to fight, not Depa. The Inquisitor exposes Depa's style instantly in their very first fight, nullifies it, destroys it, and kicks crap out of Kanan, to where Kanan literally says, "Yo, we have to run. Get out of here." And the second time they fight, annihilated. Third time they fight, Kanan tries something a little bit different and goes on the offensive and has limited success, defeated again. It's not until he learns that lesson that all Jedi have to learn, with the no attachments, and he's no longer afraid that he's going to fail protecting Ezra because he has failed protecting Ezra and thinks Ezra's dead, that he has that moment, and then Jason Isaacs is toast. But it's all those encounters and experiences and that torture sequence where he makes Kanan relive, the Caleb Doom years.
Right.
All those things have shaped Kanan into the much more powerful Jedi that he is. I mean, look, he fought Vader and didn't die, so that's a huge win. He took a major shot to the shoulder, but at least he lived. Okay, that's more than most people can say.
One thing,
so it's definitely prepared him for what he's in store for season 2, which is major.
Right. Well, actually, speaking of when Vader hit him on the shoulder, one thing that I really like about the show too is in some cartoon shows, like minor details like that with like the scarring on his shoulder, they won't care about it after like a few episodes. And I'm
totally
really glad that it's still there. Because like even in this episode, you see him kind of turning, it's still there. So I think that's really cool.
Not until he gets a new shoulder piece, that'll always be there. They're really good about that. I mean, look, it's not just because I'm on it. I take a lot of pride in this show. I love our scripts. Filoni, who I feel did a fantastic job with Clone Wars, took everything that Clone Wars did to push the genre forward and everything that Clone Wars maybe went too far on. And he's learned from all that. He's a very humble guy. He's a very blue-collar, hard-working guy. Every time I text him, he's working no matter what time of day it is. So he has his fingerprints all over this, and he takes such great care of it. If you guys could see him in a session with us and how he prepares us for the world we're about to live in, for the planet we're about to be on, for the enemies that we're going to see. And sometimes he'll draw pictures right there and show them to us, or showing stuff that they've already animated and have ready to rock and roll, so you can see like a completed model. And then just during the process, the things that he'll want to experiment with, or sometimes Taylor might do a take in a weird way, and Dave's like, hey, actually, let's go more in that way, more that direction. Or he'll hear somebody pitch something, and then him and Henry will huddle up and discuss dialogue and come up with a whole new line that they think sounds cooler. And we'll try it out, and if it works, it stays, and if not, it goes. But it's a very, very collaborative process. He's the captain of the ship, but it's very collaborative, and it's an environment that's conducive to success. Like, we know that we're making a good show. Like, it's not, my grandpa used to say, it ain't bragging if you've done it.
Right.
Like, we know we're a part of something special. We know the scripts are cool. We know how bad people are going to flip out when they see the epic moments that we get to see first, and we get off on that. And if any of the cast tells you they don't, they're lying. Like, we love Star Wars too. So when you're like, wait, who is in this season? Holy crap! Like, you guys think you freak out? Think about being ahead of the game and having to keep that secret for 2 years. Like, that sucks.
Right.
It's brutal, but it's awesome at the same time.
Well, like, we saw Filoni's been teasing this numerous times, so we know what's coming. But just thinking that duel with Ahsoka and Vader is just like it's all these speculations and whatnot. So I'm really excited for that. So I can't even imagine keeping stuff like that hidden. But I'm ready for stuff like that, dude. It's gonna be a great season.
It's gonna be a great season. You guys are gonna love the promises that we feel have been made. You can't, I said this to you before, Corey, you can't put a poster up of Ahsoka fighting Vader and then not give the people that, unless the following poster at the next Star Wars Celebration is Mickey Mouse with a giant middle finger saying ha ha ha. Like, you cannot do that, or literally people would burn Disneyland to the ground. And they'd all be Jedi running off in with their hoods so the cops could identify them. But Disneyland would burn. So I can't confirm it, but I find that highly unlikely that you won't get what you want.
Right. Wow, Disneyland burned to the ground.
I'm telling you, they would, if they underestimated the audience like that, I'll be like, yo, just look at the fan art, man. These people will kill you.
Absolutely.
That'll be the next fan art. It'll be Ahsoka with Mickey Mouse's head on her lightsaber.
Oh, we're gonna see that now. We're gonna see that now.
Impaled like Vlad's castle.
Absolutely. Chris?
Yeah, a question I would like to ask is, it looks like Kanan is starting to warm up to Rex. Will there be a relationship growing between them?
You know, I would challenge the question before I would answer it. Warming up, I would not be the term that I would choose. He does not trust Rex. He is forced to work with Rex because he thought he was the last one of something, and now someone of that same class but at a much higher level is there. So he's trying to trust this legend, but you're asking him to trust someone that looks exactly like the guy that murdered basically his mother, his master, Depa.
Yeah.
So warming up is not the term I would use. He says, look, it wasn't easy, but he qualifies that with it still isn't. So these two are forced to work together, but it's going to be under tenuous and stressful circumstances, because not only is there going to be a distrust between the two of them, but everybody's trying to kill them at the same time. So they'll be back to back, you know, saving each other's lives. But when the evil is over, Kanan's turning around before Rex is, because the trust is not there. It will be earned. And it'll be earned on an individual by individual basis. So just because Ezra trusts you, awesome, that's great. I don't. Zeb trusts you, Hera trusts, that's awesome, man. That's great for you, Santa Claus. I don't. So, you know, Kanan looks at that the way I look at politicians. Like, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. You have to earn my vote. And if I don't trust you, I'm not voting. I don't believe in the lesser of two evils in the United States government. That's disgusting and horrible, and it's not the point of America. If everyone sucks, then no one gets to win, and you find somebody else. But that's not going to happen, clearly. But that's how Kanan is with looking at his rebel situation. He doesn't want to be involved in another government. It didn't end well last time. He wants his crew to go do their thing, and they'll help out when needed, but he doesn't want to be a part of a rebellion. And then you're asking him to bring someone who literally looks like death to him into something that he doesn't even want to be a part of. So it's going to take Rex some time to earn Kanan's trust, and they're going to disagree on a lot of things. Ezra will be sort of the peanut butter and jelly in that sandwich, and they're both sort of fighting over him. And when Ezra picks the cool uncle that lets you shoot guns instead of, you know, focusing on your training and working out, it's gonna make Kanan mad, and it's gonna frustrate him. And so they're gonna have, you know, an awkward relationship for quite some time.
Well, I think it's interesting with Rex, and he just mentioned this in this episode, is how much he keeps on talking so highly of Anakin, and it always, I know you can't say anything, but it always makes me wonder in the back of my head, like, wow, this guy's like always talking high about Anakin. Is that like?
Yeah, but I would put that more to Rex is the most loyal soldier in the history of cinema. Like, forget in Clone Wars, in any movie you've seen, any TV show, any play, any book you've read, in any format, he is the most loyal soldier ever written. Like, more than Mark Antony, who had the title before him in Julius Caesar. More than that. More than friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Rex would kick Mark Antony's ass. Like, it wouldn't even be close, and then Rome would have a different history. But so I think that his dedication to what Anakin stood for is what he's talking about, not anything else. And I think he looks at all Jedi with a certain reverence and doesn't really try to make Kanan earn his trust the way Kanan's trying to make Rex earn his. Because I think I don't want to say he's programmed that way, because then people think he was actually programmed that way. I think when you're that type of a soldier, you are programmed to respond to a certain type of personality. And I think Rex responds to Kanan's personality. Rex is going to teach the same way the Inquisitor taught Kanan season 1. Rex is going to be a master to Kanan in a lot of ways, whether Kanan likes it or not.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's true, because they were playing chess together. I think it was a really funny line where Kanan goes, I don't know if I'm getting to hate you more or like you more, when they were doing that chess table scene.
That's right. And that's a moment for them. And so they'll have that sort of Danny Glover and Mel Gibson Lethal Weapon relationship. But it's still going to be, you'll see. Rex has a ways to go with Kanan. He has a ways to go.
Right.
Yeah, it's very interesting just to see how that relationship's going to, just grow overall.
And we get a lot more episodes this season to let it unfold, so it doesn't feel rushed. It's not, everything's cool, groovy, episode 5, right on.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think we got 22 or 23, 24 episodes this year, and so it really takes its time, and it's a slow roasted pork loin. It's delicious.
So that sounds awesome.
That's I couldn't have put it.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Now you're hungry.
Yeah.
So we've got a few
snack.
questions from listeners, and one of the ones that I thought was actually pretty cool, and I'll read that real quick, is please have Freddie tell the cast and crew of Rebels that I am much more excited for Season 2 than I am for The Force Awakens. And I'm really excited for The Force Awakens. I can't tell you how many times I've seen on our Twitter feed people saying we're more excited for Season 2 of Rebels than The Force Awakens. It's crazy.
Well, I'm glad it's getting people like that, and I'm glad people are responding to it like that. I mean, we feel, like I said, like we're doing something special each and every week. And look, don't fret not. Like, I think they just emailed us a rating. Like it was number 1 for its demo of whatever their kids' demo is. So they're happy with it, and they didn't buy Star Wars for $1 bazillion to cancel the show after 2 seasons. So I'm not trying to say, hey, we're on forever, but we're going to be on for a long time.
Right.
Well, they didn't buy us to cancel us. You know what I mean? It's not. It wasn't that. It's called an intellectual property. Believe me, we are an appetizer for the main course of these movies that are getting ready to come out. But it's not just one movie coming out. So we'll be around for a little bit.
Well, you know what's cool, and I was talking to everybody about this a few weeks ago, is, as excited as everybody is for Force Awakens, it's so cool that in this day for Star Wars, you get Rebels as well. So as you're getting pumped up for Force Awakens, you got this amazing show you can watch in between. And that's just that's the perfect amount of Star Wars that you need. So like each week you get this great show, great acting, great animation, and then boom, you go into a movie. It's
well, that's all part of that Disney plan. I mean, they rushed us big time season 1 because they wanted certain episodes out by certain dates to launch certain trailers, to launch certain toys, to get the New York City Toy Fair Ghost Lego ship out on time. So that's a big part of our scheduling. And when they give us these weird hiatuses and you won't see Rebels for 3 weeks, well, you're probably going to see a couple toys launch that week, and that's why. So it's that's a Disney plan, and sometimes it's awesome. Like when you say, oh, you can have a piece of this while you wait for a bigger piece of this. And sometimes it's frustrating for the diehards who are like, Rebels. Wait, 3 weeks? Like that for them, it's brutal. So it's, it is a business model, and it's one that works. And if it frustrates you, I'm sorry. It ain't going anywhere anytime soon. And if you love it, right on. It's going to be there forever.
Right. One last question real quick from a viewer before we ask our final question. And this is from Johnny Grosso. I'm only going to read the second half of your question, dude, and he says, my Star Wars question for Freddie. On Twitter a while ago, you and I briefly discussed your theory that Luke Skywalker's greatest Jedi ability was the courage not to fight, or something along those lines. And then in this past Rebels episode, you, as Kanan stated, it takes far more discipline not to fight. Was that a coincidence, or do you think that Kanan and Luke Skywalker are similar? Can you elaborate on the similar Jedi philosophies of the two, as I'm starting to see a lot of Luke and Kanan resemblance? Thanks, guys, and chicks dig me, Johnny Grosso.
Question.
How do you get all those characters on Twitter? That's awesome. I'm just kidding. that's really cool that you see similarities between Luke outside just the visuals that they did in the Clones episode with the taking apart of the lightsaber and looking down the barrel of the gun, so to speak. You know, it was coincidence when you and I happened to have that conversation and the episode coming out. That was just fortuitous timing and awesomeness all at the same time. But Luke's training was, to be honest, more rushed than Kanan's. It's why he's not the best fighter. He's probably one of the worst. He's sorry with a lightsaber. He can't pull it out of a snowdrift in Empire Strikes Back with his force powers. And it's because he's had a week to become this master Jedi and save the universe. Luke's greatest asset is he's Gandhi. It's his willingness not to fight that wins him the fight. It's his willingness to love over hate that finds that goodness in Vader and makes Vader turn from heel to babyface at the end of Jedi. Kanan, I don't think, is that selfless. He's willing to make sacrifices, as you can see when he lets Tarkin and the Inquisitor and Kallus take him, and he closes off the elevator and forces Ezra and the crew to escape. Now that's a selfless act, but Luke's doing it with the person he's wanted to get to know his entire life. And oh yeah, that guy's Hitler, basically, is what he finds out. Oh, he's the worst human being ever.
Right. And
to find love in that dead metallic machine cyborg and believe that somehow you can find something, that's a different kind of force power, and Kanan is not that strong. That's like next level. When one day when Luke dies, he'll be the 5th Jedi in the history of the Jedi family, where his spirit lives and he just doesn't disappear into the cosmic force, right? He'll be that level. Kanan's disappearing into the cosmic force. He talks too much crap, man. You don't get to work a stormtrooper and be like, in your face. You don't get to do that and stand next to Yoda as a ghost-like figure. You become a star somewhere else.
Well, my final question before we let you go is it's not really Rebels question, but it's more about Force Awakens. Are you got any special plans for the film, or just gonna...
I am not going when it opens because that would be crazy. And since I'm not allowed to wear a mask because people will do something crazy to an audience in a theater somewhere, so no one's allowed to wear masks in major theaters. Sorry guys, if you were planning on doing that, you don't get to. But if I can't wear a mask, I'm not going because I want to go with my kids and I want to be able to spend it with them. Yeah. So I'll wait 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then take them on a weekday when it's not completely insane and crazy, and we'll all get to see it together as a family. I think you should see Star Wars as a family because it's kind of a generational thing. Whereas it's been going on so long, grandparents can take their grandkids to the new Star Wars movie and they both have something to grab onto. So, that's how I want to experience it, and I just won't be able to do that opening weekend.
Dude, no, I don't blame you at all. That would be crazy. Getting people, look, it's Kanan.
For real, man.
Absolutely. Well, Freddie, look, it's always a pleasure to have you on here. And
thanks, man. I appreciate you guys having me, and we'll definitely do it again during season 2, so no worries on that.
Oh, no, absolutely, man. And we'll definitely chat soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good one.
No problem.
Good talking to you.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the WoflPack Podcast. You can follow us on all social media outlets and visit our new website, www.thewolfpackpodcast.com, sponsored by Dorkside Toys, your online stop for the newest Star Wars collectible releases and pre-orders. Be sure to visit www.dorksidetoys.com and be sure to click the link on our homepage. All rights belong to Disney and Lucasfilm for their respective copyright holders. This is a fan podcast, only meant for entertainment and information purposes. Head on over to StarWars.com for any official news, and be sure to subscribe to our channel, and the Force will be with you always.